What's up everyone? Welcome into a brand new video for Anno 1800. We're going to be taking a look at the top 10 specialists that I cannot live without. These specialists are extremely valuable to me and in some cases essential to my overall production setup and my economy. With a few exceptions, most of these can be found at Eli Bleakworth's harbor. He's the neutral trader at the prison. A cautionary tale though on Eli's harbor. You can go broke very, very quickly re-rolling to get specialists you might want. Be smart about re-rolling, everyone. Just be smart for items and don't go crazy. You can go broke. So if you only have a couple million gold, maybe tell yourself I'm only going to spend 100,000. If you only have 100,000 gold, you might not want to go and start re-rolling for specialists right now. It can add up really, really quickly, and specialists can be fairly expensive. So you have been warned. If you have him disabled though in the game settings, you're only going to find these items from quest rewards, expeditions, or the public mooring. If you're interested in seeing more information on where these items can come from, check out the Anno asset viewer in the link in the description down below. Alright, let's get started with the first one. First up on our list is the Actor, and she is a rare quality item that goes in your town hall. You need to reach artisan level to start finding her at Eli's harbor. Increases happiness by +3, that's nice, but her real power comes in the form of giving any residents supplied with the Variety Theater a supply of rum and canned food for free. That's huge. This decreases the number of canneries, distilleries, and all of their associated chains that you need to build. If you're able to get most, if not all, of your artisans and engineers within range of a town hall with her in it, you're going to need to make very little of these goods yourself. This saves on workforce, island space, and in the new world, island space is a big deal, and on maintenance cost. You still get the tax income, so it's pure profit. She's a big winner for me. I keep plenty of actors on standby for all of my future cities, neighborhoods, and everything. Next up on the list is the Mola Wola machine. This is a legendary item crafted in the Arctic at Nate's airship. You do need the Passage DLC to access that region and this item, so if you don't have that DLC, you're not going to be able to get access to this thing. It costs 50 Arctic scrap, 20 coffee, 20 sugar, and 10 gas to build, and it goes in your trade union. The production bonus of 25% is a nice little boost, but it's the extra coffee that it makes is really important. Every 10th cycle of rum or champagne production, you get 1 coffee. A rum distillery with just this item will produce 1 rum every 24 seconds, so every 4 minutes you get coffee. If you increase the production even further on a rum distillery, you'll make coffee even faster. It's still slower than an actual coffee maker or a coffee factory, yes, but if you know how fast coffee can go, you'll appreciate any extra coffee you can get. With multiple rum distilleries and multiple champagne distilleries being affected by this item, you'll give yourself a nice little boost to your coffee production and help satisfy those insane caffeine demands of the engineers and investors. Next up we have the costume designer. The costume designer is a must-have for me, and like the actor, you need artisans to start seeing this rare quality item for sale at Eli. This is a wonderful trade union item that totally changes what is needed to make fur coats. Instead of having to make cotton in the New World, ship it back, it replaces it with just wool. A basic fur coat dealer with no modifiers produces fur coats at 30 seconds. Wool is produced every 30 seconds, so it's an easy one-to-one matchup. Once you start increasing the productivity of the fur coat dealer, you'll need to increase the amount of wool you make in proportion to that as well. I typically won't even think about starting fur coat production until I have my first costume designer. That is how important she is to me. Cotton is fairly space intensive. You need a lot of space for the plantations, and you need a lot of workforce for it. You need a ship to transport it, and inevitably you're going to have to build more of those as you need more and more fur coats. You already have crowded New World islands, so this right here takes away all of that need. It is so handy. Wool is a very simple building with very minimal space and a small workforce needed. Costume designer is one of my favorites, and I never ever let a fur dealer be built without being in range of a trade union with her in it. Next up on the list here is Mr. Garrick. Mr. Garrick, founder of the Entrepreneur Gentlemen's Club, is a town hall item of epic quality that is one I discovered early on when I first picked the game up, and I have loved him ever since. This fella provides a nice bonus income of plus 5 coins per engineer and investor residence that he affects for having access to a bank. And he supplies them with pocket watches and jewelry. That is huge. Those two items can be fairly costly in terms of both maintenance and workforce early on, and having someone give them for free is just a huge bonus. The extra money is a nice side effect, and it will help your balance even more. I have a Mr. Garrick at every single one of my town halls that engineers and investors are in range of, and I definitely cannot live without this guy. Next up on our list is Gordon the Master Grocer. He is an epic quality item that I found very useful in the New World. He supplies beer for all residences within his town hall range. This is perfect for those obreros that want beer, so you don't have to try and produce more beer in the Old World or in Cape Trelawney and ship it to them. He also increases happiness by plus 5. Happiness can be a little tricky in the New World at times, especially if you use increased working conditions, so every bit of extra happiness helps. The next on our list here is Toreador Lucia. She is an epic trade union item for your cigar factories. She changes out the need for wood veneers from the Old World for plain old timber and increases the production by a nice 40%. This gets rid of the need to produce extra veneers. So you already need veneers for gramophones, so you're going to have to produce even more veneers to ship to the New World for cigar factories. And so your cigars are made quicker and cheaper because they're not having to wait on veneers, and they're made faster because with the 40% productivity. She is another one that I won't even think about starting the cigar chain until I have her. So check her out. Definitely one I recommend for your cigar factories. Chef Michael. This is my favorite item on this entire list. I despise the artisanal kitchen chain. Don't ask me why, but I do. Maybe it's because I don't like the way the kitchen doesn't fit nicely with the cannery. It leaves that one tile that's different between them. Or maybe it's because the red pepper farms look out of place to me for some reason. All the other farms have a very European vibe to them. That one looks like a hut, like a yurt or something. I don't know. It's very odd looking. I don't like it. But I dislike the entire thing. Chef Michael solves my issues by replacing the entire artisanal kitchen chain for plain old pigs. Simple as that. Plop down a couple of pig farms and your canneries will be pumping out some nice canned sausage in no time. As a bonus, he produces sausage itself at a production rate of 1 sausage every 2 cycles of the cannery, so it's fairly quick. I love this guy. I absolutely love him, and I will use the actor to satisfy all my canned food needs until I find him. I will not build the canned food chain until I get Chef Michael. He is fairly rare though, so expect to possibly spend millions at Eli before seeing him. He is extremely rare, but once you get him, you will be very happy. Just be careful with your money. Don't go broke trying to get Chef Michael, because it will happen. Trust me. Next up on my list is the Brasserie Patron Mertens. He is invaluable as an epic quality town hall item. He gives all residences with pub access a supply of sausages, bread, beer, and church. He's one of the few items in the game that only covers a single tier of residences, this one being workers. It doesn't actually say that on his card, but if you look and see what he supplies and what they have to have, only workers fit that bill. With him slotted into your town halls where your workers are at, you don't need to produce any of those goods at all. He supplies them with the entire worker tier of basic and happiness goods. You still need to supply them with fish, and if you want schnapps. But that's nothing compared to eliminating the need for a beer chain or a bread chain. I keep plenty of him around for my worker towns, and I happily supply them with almost everything they need from this one guy. Next up on the list is Professor Ram Devi, the Bundle of Energy. He is fairly rare. He does not come from Eli. He only comes from expeditions, quests, and a few things like that. He cannot be found at Eli. But he is a super useful legendary specialist. He affects light bulb factories and gramophone factories by giving them electricity without the need for a power plant, improves their productivity by an additional 50%, and occasionally produces watches at a rate of 1 every 16 cycles, glasses 1 every 14 cycles, penny farthings every 15 cycles, steam carriages every 17 cycles, and sewing machines every 13 cycles. So while the extra production is far slower than others on this list, his supply of so many extra goods is so nice, and it really helps offset a bit of production. The easiest way to actually get him is if you have the Seat of Power DLC and you have an island that has reached the maximum attractiveness rating to unlock all of the policies, is to do the Right to Remain Act. The Right to Remain Act gives you a 2.94% chance. Let me make sure I was telling you right. Yes, 2.94% chance of receiving him at the public mooring. So that is your best way to get that. Beyond that, you're going to have to hope that you can get him either just through the public mooring normal, which is less than a 1% chance, or from quest or rescue expeditions. Susannah the Steam Engineer is last but not least on our list. She's an epic quality trade union specialist that replaces your affects the cab assembly line. Apologies for that. And it takes out the need for steam motors and replaces it with just filaments. Basic, easy to make filaments. You just need coal. And she produces light bulbs at a rate of 1 every 4 cycles as well. So she produces light bulbs at a decent rate. Replacing the expensive and polluting steam motors with easy to make filaments is a massive, massive change. I absolutely love it. Be aware though, you still might want to have a steam motor factory because you're going to need those for steamships. Or if you can afford it, buy them from Nate in Cape Trelawney. They are very expensive to buy from him, but you can buy them as you need them to build a ship. If you do have a steam motor factory, you can turn that supply off. You can turn the factory off once you have a decent supply of them. You don't have to keep it running anymore. Susannah is another one that I won't even consider making carriages until I have her in my inventory. And that's it. That's my 10 that I cannot live without. Do you have others you want to add or ones you just have to have in your city that weren't on this list? Just let me know down in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.